right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We talk weekly after the talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk. And let's go right into some good news and bad. You got some good news and bad for me?
Yeah. Let me bring
Wait.
Okay.
Because I got to preface this, right? Do you have good news? Or you have that good bad stuff you talking about? I just want to know.
Okay. So I have good news and I have one story of bad news.
Okay.
Does that feel better?
Kinda, but go ahead. Give it to me.
Okay. All right. So I like to ask you all a question. If you intentionally do harm to someone and later apologize, are words enough? Well, I'd like for you to listen to the facts of this next story and let me know if Black Lives Matter. So Philadelphia issues an apology for experiments done on Holmesburg's prisoners.
Holmesburg, yeah.
Yep, Holmesburg prisoners. So the city of Philadelphia mayor has apologized and recognized their immoral and unethical experiments performed on Holmesburg's inmates between 1950s and the 70s by a former University of Pennsylvania faculty member. The member is Albert Klingman. He's one of the creators of the modern dermatology who developed Retin A. It's a topical cream that penetrates immediately in deeper into layers of the skin. So Klingman experimented on mainly black male inmates, exposing them to all types of drugs, viruses, fungus, asbestos, LSD, and a component of Agent Orange. Some of the men were allegedly paid but unknowing subjects. The men experienced reactions up to a year, according to the reports published by the Enquirer in the 70s. This is crazy. So Mayor Kenney offered an apology, and these are his words. He says, "Without excuse, we formally and officially extend a sincere apology to those who were subjected to this inhumane and horrific abuse. We are also sorry it took for too long to hear these words. To the families and loved ones across generations who have been impacted by the deplorable chapter in our city's history, we are hopeful this formal apology brings you at least a small measure of closure."
Understood. Real quick, can you read that first sentence for me again?
From
what you just read by Mayor Kenney.
"Without excuse, we formally and officially extend a sincere apology to those who were subjected to this inhumane and horrific abuse."
I appreciate the apology. However, I'm confused about without excuse. What does that mean? What does that mean, without excuse?
So we on the same line, because when I started my story, I said, let me ask you a question. If you intentionally do harm to someone and later apologize, are words enough?
Yeah.
Without excuse. Like, you're still...
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You dissected. Go ahead, Sizzle.
I don't think words are enough. I feel like there needs to be some type of retribution, in addition to just saying like, "Oh, we apologize." So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Yeah, it has to be some type of action behind that apology, especially since did you say he just passed away, right?
One of the but some of the people who have been
before the some of the people that were experimented on are no longer with us.
Exactly.
Right.
And,
so what about
with those? Yeah, with those agents in their body.
Yes. So what about compensation for their families, for their children, and things like that?
I think about the judicial system, and when you commit a crime or you do something, you may have had a vehicular accident and you didn't mean to do it, but you still have to pay for your debt.
It's a consequence.
So, right. So is there consequences, not to just say sorry, but like you said, where's the I can't say it, but the money.
Yeah.
Where's the
exactly.
money?
Yeah.
It's
just sickening. It's just sickening.
So
see, and it's a difference between, and I just want to make sure we understand that it's a difference between consequence and punishment. It's a difference between consequence and punishment, and so it's okay. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox. Go ahead, finish.
You should have. Go ahead.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't see why you can't tell
ahead.
them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay.
This is our platform, and we should be able to say what we want to say, in a tactful and factual way.
That's right.
Right.
For sure.
Well, Kenney says that despite these experiments having taken place decades ago, the impact of the medical racism these inmates experience has extended to the present day. So he has acknowledged that. Experiment survivors, some did pass away, like to what you said, Sizzle, like Leodis Jones, who would leave prison and become an influential activist and community leader. He would bear the scars for the rest of his life after being injected with what he was told was a rare disease from India. So Jones would share his experience in congregational hearings about the Tuskegee experiment. The fallout of these experiments would lead to restrictions on medical experiments in prisons. So the Inquirer published a report in the 70s detailing a contract between Penn Hospital and the U.S. Army with Kligman as the helm of the research. More than 300 inmates tested mind control drugs and potential skin hardeners to protect soldiers from chemical warfare. So they were the guinea pigs. It was found that the inmates complained profusely of side effects, including inflammation that lasted weeks. It was so bad that the inmates, although signed willingly, were eliminated from the experiment. So one of the many experiments, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer, was a $10,000 contract with Dow Chemical where they used dioxin, a contaminant in Agent Orange, which was used on 70 inmates. Although the inmates signed up, the forms, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer, never mentioned the chemical agent. However, the documents authorized that the experiment cleared the hospital, the laboratory, the prison, and any liability for complications.
That's wild.
All right, so to close, go ahead.
But you want to close it?
No, go ahead.
So this is why, and I understand. All right, so let me start with the thought. This is why black folks has a problem with the health industry, the medical industry, right? With doctors just in general, because we don't trust the system because of all these experiments, right? And from the Tuskegee Airmen to all the people that was in the Army during the Civil War. I mean, I could go. Even our
Africa.
Yeah, Africa.
When they were testing them.
Yeah. So the problem cutting off. Anyway, so when you talk about when we have a whole medical industry that were, I don't want to say pointing fingers, but pushing really hard against black folks who were saying that they didn't want to take the vaccine. You had to understand where they was coming from. You had to.
Dr. Stanford spoke about that.
That's right.
She spoke highly about it.
So it's important for us to give a little space, lend a little space to some of our brethren who are pushing back against certain vaccines. I don't want the flu vaccine, and just don't take vaccines. You just have to give them a little.
I agree.
Some safe space.
Although the coin of Black Lives Matter has been commercialized, it is a sentence or a statement that really matters of what you said, not just in the health field, in the work field, in the housing, everything you name. It was because of the discrimination of people being weaponized because of the color of their skin. So when we say Black Lives Matter, outside of the commercialized thing of what it's grew into, it's something that's true. Yeah. I mean, this is point proven, right?
Right, you're absolutely right. OT, my guy OT is on. We had him on the show. Shout out to my guy OT. He said something that really profound. He said, under law, they are property of the state. So he's talking about prisoners, right? And so when you're prisoners, technically you're still, you're literally a slave.
No, because you still have the Constitution.
If
you have the Constitution,
you give up those, well, you're right. But you give up those rights once you're incarcerated. That's what they say.
I gotta check on
that.
Yeah.
Man. So I get it. This is why and like you said, and this is why we don't trust the government. And this is the reason why we don't trust the government, because of things like that. I mean, literally, we just we're still fighting for the right to vote.
Yes. Yeah.
In 2022. We're still fighting for the
We
right to
just
vote.
got an approval for women, the Crown vote, of wearing our hair out of a natural state and not be
Crown Act, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my sister Adjua. She was on top of. Let me see if we can get her on the show. She actually was one who spearheaded that policy, the Crown Act. Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to her. Yeah, Adjua. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to her. Yeah. So in the Johnson & Johnson study, inmates were injected with asbestos to compare it with talc on the skin. And 66 Kligman did an interview with the Evening Bulletin in Philadelphia about his first impression of the Philadelphia prison system. He said, and I quote, "All I saw before me were acres of skin. It was like a farmer seeing a fertile field for the first time." End of quote. So by the year 2000, close to 300 former prisoners who reported injuries from the experiment would sue the city. Penn and Kligman, the suit missed the statute of limitation.
Wait.
Over 300 former prisoners tried to sue, but it missed the statute of limitation. He continues to receive accolades for his advancement in dermatology. So they are trying to take his name off of a lot of things that were presented to him. Kenney noted that experiments like these have created distrust in communities of color, and he vowed to continue to rectify past wrongs.
No, you can't rectify past wrongs. What you can do is do better now. You can't rectify. If you literally murdered an entire generation, they're gone. You can't rectify. You can't bring them back. What you can do is do something for their progeny. You can do something for their kids. Do something for their families. And this is the reason. This is the reason again why we don't trust the system.
Because how can it miss statute of limitation for people who...
There is no statute of limitation for murder.
Right.
Literally, they can dig up bones and find that you did something.
And resume bodies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so that was the bad news. You want some good news? All right, good news is Ed Martell was a former drug dealer and has appeared in court many times, but this time his appearance in court was different. This time, Martell's appearance in the very courtroom he was sentenced to is now being sworn in as an attorney. After several run-ins with the law, Martell ended up before Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Bruce Morrow, and he expected to see 1 to 20 years of a prison sentence for selling drugs. But instead, he got 3 years probation and some unexpected inspiration. He challenged me, and he said, Mr. Martell, "I dare you to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company instead of selling drugs," Martell recalls. So Martell then told his story to the Character and Fitness Committee for the State Bar of Michigan. They decided his past didn't have to dictate his future and did not block his attempt to become a lawyer. Despite his past and brush with the law, now finally Martell was sworn in by Morrow, who is now much more than a judge. He's now Martell's mentor. Martell also plans to give back to the community and serve as an inspiration to the next generation.
That's dope.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope.
That was good?
Yeah.
Not
good
bad?
news.
Not
Nah,
good bad.
it's
Yeah,
great
okay.
news. I mean, there's so many stories about people who are literally studying on their own and making a way for themselves under severe circumstances.
Right.
You know, and so that's a good look. That's a good look. So now, okay,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. So that was your good news and bad news. Podcast with Spreaker.